Morning all, it's 8:42 in the AM. I'm on my way to pick up Dan for another exciting episode of The Plan. Today's episode is all about why is it important to travel? Is it important to travel? Me and Dan have been lucky, we've done a lot of travelling. What does it do? And what does it do to your brain if you don't travel? Plus, all the usual subjects. Anyway, let's crack on. Okay, so the subject this particular time is why is it good to travel?
Is it shit?
Is it shit?
Is it shit to travel?
Is it shit to travel? We've been lucky, we've travelled a lot, right, with work.
We have travelled a lot.
And it's a different thing when someone else is paying.
It is a different thing.
You can love it more,
Yeah.
because it costs you nothing.
Yeah.
And you go to places you would never spend your own money on going.
No.
And not really be bothered about going.
Yeah.
And then get there and go, oh, I'm glad I came.
Yeah. You go with people you'd never go anywhere with.
100%.
Yeah.
But also sometimes you go places and think, no, I don't want to go there again.
Yeah. Russia.
Well, yeah, I've done Russia a few times.
Yeah. Pakistan, that was another one.
I've never done that.
Have you not?
What were you doing there?
Karachi. I went with, I think it was the Overtures. We did like some expat, a couple of gigs. Yeah, it was... the worst thing was you're staying. Of course, they've got big Western hotel chains are there.
Yeah.
You're in this big sort of glass and chrome hotel, looking at families living under bridges and open sewers. You know, sat there drinking expensive drinks. It was horrific.
Yeah.
That was a big culture shock, actually. Culture shock.
Been a few places in the Middle East like that. Oman was like that. Oman's weird because it's a beautiful country, and they're stinking rich. You know, they've made a lot of money, and they all sort of live on the coast. Muscat, the capital, is like on the coast, and there's nothing really apart from a bunch of mountains inland. And interestingly, they are moving those mountains. You think that's just a phrase, it's not. They pick them up piece by piece and move them because the land is so valuable to build on. So they just pick the mountains up bit by bit, move them somewhere else and build on it. Yeah. But yeah, that was like that. It was like there was incredibly well-off people surrounded by incredibly not well-off people.
Yeah, well, again, they bring in the workforce, don't they, from India and the likes.
They have an interesting policy as well, the guy that runs Oman. No, there's no bad news. The newspapers, it's just all good news. Which, although obviously very odd and corrupt, probably, it's quite nice.
Yeah.
Nothing but good news.
Can do with a bit of that.
Yeah. Quite enjoyed that.
Well, I'm travelling a bit this year. I don't normally go on holidays, I think because I've travelled so much with work.
Yeah.
But it's the airports, it's the check-in, it's the queues. Now we're not in the EU, you know, get off the plane and
it's a nightmare.
You've been sat, I mean, it must be worse for you because you're tall, but you're sat all scrunched up on these planes where they've crammed as many seats as they can.
Yeah.
You have a choice, you either pay a fortune to fly, or you don't, and you sit all scrunched up and...
Yeah. Yeah, well, I went to Sweden, didn't I, last week? And that was exactly that. The airport in the UK was fine, that bit was all good. But yeah, the aeroplane, tiny. And it's always a longer flight than you think, Sweden. It's like 2.5 hours, which, you know, my knees touch the seat in front. There's no way around it. They just do. So I'm kind of uncomfortable from the second I sit down, really. And then you're right, you get into not in the EU anymore, passport queue at the other end, and yeah.
I quite like travelling in the UK. My dad lives in Scotland. We go to the south coast quite a lot. We had a camper van for ages.
Yeah, nice.
Because that was the way. I'd much rather do that than go through all the grief of the airports, really.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I love a holiday in the UK. It's, exciting road trip.
Where's your perfect holiday destination then?
That's really difficult. I mean, did a really good trip to Italy a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it's nice.
And
Puglia a bit.
Yeah, we sort of did the whole thing. We went down the south. We did the Amalfi Coast first. Then we did Rome. We were there for a few days. Then we did Venice. We did Lake Garda. We sort of did the whole thing, Pompeii a lot, and it was absolutely beautiful country. I've been there before we worked, but I've never stopped to have a look.
Yeah.
You know, so it was nice to see it.
That's the downside of the working bit.
Yeah, you don't really see these places very well.
You're just careering around the place with a bunch of roadies on a tour bus.
Yeah.
I've driven through the Alps and stuff on a tour bus. I mean, it was amazing. We actually stopped and spent the day skiing once. Just literally stopped the bus, hired a load of snowboards and skis,
Yeah.
skied down the hill, ski lift back up, got pissed, got back on the bus.
Nice. Yeah. No, you get to see some very cool places. But what do you think it does to you from a psychological point of view to travel, to see different cultures and to just generally to see different places?
I think it makes you understand. I think a lot of the narrow-minded sort of bigotry and racism comes from the fact that people don't see that other races come from.
Yeah.
They have their own, you know, culture and country and what
Yeah.
have you as well.
Yeah.
And I think travelling opens you up to that. You
Yeah.
know, you see, you know, Japan, again, like say Pakistan and even the States.
Yeah.
You know, you go to the States and you realise how big it is, you know, and how many
enormous.
different,
Yeah.
you know, how different people live.
I think, you know, I mean, I know we have some viewers from the States, which, you know, I think I've been there 25 times. I've worked
Yeah,
out.
you've done it a lot.
I did it a lot, but it wasn't somewhere I was massively bothered about going until I went, and then I absolutely loved bits of it.
Mm.
You know, obviously when you first go to New York, it's like walking onto a film set, and
Yeah,
you know, you're always blown away by it. LA was similar. I'd seen it so often on TV. It was cool to be there, but places like Nashville,
Yeah.
I had no idea what to expect. Absolutely loved the place.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Always
And-
a band on, always a bar open.
Oh, just brilliant. Brilliant
Best thing
place.
about America? Breakfast.
Oh, yeah. Denny's or wherever.
Yeah,
Go to one of those, breakfast cafes. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I don't think I'd live long if I lived there.
No.
That's the problem.
Well, they don't.
No, they don't. When it got to the stage, the last few tours I did there, because I was going there for like 2 or 3 months at a time, I'd learned that every time I went, I came back a stone heavier. So I went on a diet. I'd lost a stone before I went.
Before
I
you
thought,
left.
right, I'm going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
I can eat what I want.
Make the most of it.
Yeah.
But they have diet beer, don't they? Coors Light, Bud Light.
Yeah. Yeah, I really, really unexpectedly liked the Americans in general.
Yeah.
Whereas on TV and films and that, I don't think they're particularly portrayed very well. Whereas I found the average American to be a really friendly, cool kind of person.
It's that sort of pseudo courtesy, isn't it? They think they greet you like a long lost relative. And you
They
think,
do.
You know, considering how miserable the Brits are,
Yeah.
they treat you like a long lost. You think, oh, this is nice, and then you know they can once you bought you whatever it is, they completely ignore you, and you know have a nice day.
Well, it's like when you go to Japan for the first time. They're so, I mean, you can't understand anything, but they are so polite. They are constantly bowing and shaking your hand and just generally doing everything they can to make your stay as nice as possible. It was weird, actually. I went to Japan, I think, 4 times with work, and every time I went to both Tokyo and Osaka, and each time I was in those cities, I was staying in the same hotel, and they put me in the exact same room. And I realised, I think, on the 3rd trip, I'm like, no, this is the same room again. And I actually went to reception and asked, like, you keep, you know,
They try and make.
I'm here with different people.
Yeah.
Why am I in the same room? And they basically said, well, you liked it. How do you know I liked it? Well, you didn't complain. Rightio, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Give him the same room again. Yeah.
There's a few things I'd like to go and see. Some of the wonders. I'd like to go see the pyramids.
Yeah, I've never done that.
No, I've never done that. I've seen a pyramid in South America somewhere, Mexico, somewhere like that.
Yeah.
It was the one where you clap and it makes the.
Yeah.
And oddly enough, you could climb on it, so you could go up it. I mean, it was in amazing condition.
Yeah.
So you could climb up it, and it was huge, obviously.
Yeah.
And on the way up, we bought vodka infused with marijuana off they were sort of street sellers, sort of half the way up.
And you had that?
We had that
on
on the top,
pyramid?
yeah, and then tried to get down.
Yeah, I bet that was fun.
Yeah, with these big old steps. Yeah,
Wow.
but I bet you couldn't do that now. I climbed Sydney Harbour Bridge as well.
See, Australia's an interesting one. Been to Australia, I think, I can't remember if it's 2 or 3 times, but I've done a few tours there. I know people that absolutely love it.
Yeah.
And I know people that have made their home there.
Yeah.
I've never gone with it. I don't know why. I think I found it like not as good as America was kind of where my brain was at. Obviously, they've got some amazing scenery. You know, I had a week off once in Sydney staying in an apartment with Johnny.
Yeah.
It was amazing,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't want to live there.
We went down to the Margaret River. We spent quite a lot of time in Perth and that sort of Western Australia and what have you. And I liked it. There's just too many things that can kill you. I know that's a bit of a...
Well, it's true.
Yeah.
It is true.
An obvious thing to say. Not a big sort of spider fan.
No, I'm not a big fan of them.
And I'm more scared of the big ones that can't kill you, the huntsman,
Yeah.
than the little ones that can.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind going into battle and getting a spider. I'm not that scared, but I'd rather not be surrounded by them.
No. And sharks as well. They're going out for a swim or a surf.
Yeah, that's just not
jellyfish.
happening. Yeah, me and fish don't get on.
No.
Not getting into the sea where there's fish that can eat you. That's not happening.
Do you eat fish?
No. I don't have anything to do with the sea. My little rule in life is I won't mess with you, you don't mess with me. I just don't like things that live in the sea.
Yeah.
I won't eat them if you don't eat me.
I like the old, you know, when you go out on the boat trip and jumping off the boat into the sea and stuff. I mean, when I think about it, it freaks me out.
Yeah.
And my other half will not, if she can't see the bottom, she will not get in. She's a bit better now. We bought a paddle boards.
Yeah.
So we got paddle boarding and stuff, and she's a bit braver now. We go with the dogs and stuff. But yeah, her rule was if I can't see the bottom, I'm not getting in.
That's a pretty good rule.
Yeah.
I mean, I will do that, but I don't like it. You know, it does go through my brain constantly that something is looking at me going,
Yeah.
I'm gonna
I'll
have a bite.
I'll have a little nibble on that.
Yeah, and God knows what lives down the bottom. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just very dark and deep. Sod that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a tangent.
That was a tangent. I've got a friend who's a master scuba diver. Dive master, they call it, don't they? Yeah. And he goes all over the place, diving on wrecks and doing all... I'd love to do that.
I can't think of anything I'd rather do less.
Really?
No,
I'd
not in
love
a
to.
million years. Nope. No thanks.
You...
Dirty, dark places, underwater. What's the most exciting thing you'll find? A really big fish.
Well, it's clear. You know, nice and blue and clear and crystal. It's like flying. It's the closest you get to flying, well, other than parachuting,
Yeah,
which is something else I wouldn't do.
Yeah, I don't know about a parachuting thing.
You'd do a parachute jump?
Probably not, but
No.
I'd prefer that to going in the sea, I think.
The older I've got, the more scared of heights I've become.
Oh, I'm the same. Yeah, I'm
We
not
went
good
to the
at heights.
theatre the other day and we were in a box and I couldn't look over the edge of the fucking box.
Yeah, I don't like heights. I mean,
I struggle walking over the bridges in London sometimes. And it's not that I'm scared of the heights, it's just that
Falling off.
there's 1% of my brain going, go on, jump.
I'm the same. Exactly the same.
Yeah.
I get that if I get a hotel room with a balcony,
Yeah.
I'll edge out there and think, hang on, I might jump.
You edge on the balcony.
That's why they don't let me in hotels anymore. Dear, oh dear.
Yeah.
Back to the travel thing.
Sorry, right.
No, it's all related. I just thought of an encounter I had. I was working in Dubai, and I don't really like Dubai. I found it very soulless place to be.
Yeah.
And again, there's that weird thing where a lot of the people working there are, you know, very poor, and there's, you know, busy polishing everyone's Rolls Royce and Ferraris as they pull up outside hotels.
Yeah.
Which I don't like that shit. That's just weird. But a promoter I worked with over there, got chatting to him. He was putting on this gig we were doing. Lovely guy, very good at his job. And we just, you know, he invited me over to his table. We were drinking and we were having a chat, and he's sort of telling me about his career and stuff. And he was an Iraqi, grew up in Iraq, in the war. And he said, I just always wanted to work in music and be a promoter. And I'm like, you just can't get your head around the fact that, well, you know, we're busy bombing the place. There's some little kid there somewhere that's just thinking about his career that's going pear-shaped.
Hopes and dreams.
Because we're bombing his country. And then he said, you know, eventually most of his family got killed, he escaped, and he's now got his dream job being a promoter. Wow.
Jesus.
But that
You don't
kind of
realise
thing.
how you've lived, how lucky you've been, do you?
No, you don't. But I think that's one of the experiences. I think, you know, if I hadn't have travelled there and met that guy and had that conversation, that would never have gone through my head, really. That there's people who are, shit that their country's in the middle of a war, but they just want to get on with their lives.
Well, that's why it's so. You realise this is another sort of perspective it gives you, is you realise how stupid borders are.
Yeah.
You know, you're lucky to be alive.
Yep.
You're doubly, a million times lucky to have been born, you know, in a Western country, in a country that's not war torn or
100%.
isn't corrupt or isn't a communist state or whatever. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard some philosopher
Luck, that's
saying
all it
something
is.
about you should be nice to everybody you ever meet, because the chances of you being born at the same time as anybody, the fact that we're all sharing the planet at the same time in history, chances are tiny.
Yeah.
And, you know, in a billion years' time, they might look back and go, you know, there was that point in 2000 and whatever, and there was this many people on the planet, and, they, you know, this many of them didn't talk to each other, and this many hated each other, whereas actually they were all doing this shared experience.
Whereas in fact, it's actually only a simulation.
Well, it could be.
You know, and we are just pawns in a game. In a parallel universe, in an infinite amount of universes.
I mean, that could be. In which case, how do I upgrade to a better
that's
experience?
it, yeah.
So, you know, if this is a simulation, I want a better simulation, please.
It's quite interesting you say that, because it just made me give up.
Just made you give up. Game over.
Yeah, that's it.
Player one has left the game.
Yeah, just leave me alone.
Favourite country? If you could go back to another country tomorrow,
Yeah.
all expenses paid, where'd you go?
I would probably go to the States.
Okay.
I know that's. I mean, I liked Italy.
Yeah.
Um,
I think Japan, if someone else was paying,
yeah, Japan.
I love Japan.
I've got some friends that have just been on holiday to Japan.
It's on the list of places me and the missus want to go together at some point. Obviously, I've been, but she'd like to see it, and I'd like to go more as a tourist and less as someone who's working. But
A lot of culture there. Again, there's a lot of different sort of cultural stuff that I think perhaps I missed.
I think the reason I loved, I was lucky the first time I went, I got taken to Kyoto, saw the temples and all that stuff, went on a bullet train, did some really cool stuff.
Yeah, I did the bullet train.
Got a bit of time
What's the
off.
festival that's there?
Oh God, I can't remember. I
to me.
made a film there, which I'm really proud of, but it was really interesting because I still think of all the places I've been, that is the one place that is least like any of the others. It's like another planet.
Got to go to Karachi. Yeah, Pakistan. You want to start?
I can imagine.
My favourite thing is summer's English summer in a camper van,
Yeah.
in a pair of shorts and sandals. You're not knowing where you're going. With the missus and the dogs, you
Yeah.
just drive.
No, that's nice.
We usually go to sort of Norfolk way,
Yeah.
and then just drop down the coast, and then
Ooh.
anywhere nice you find, you stop.
Yeah, I love all that. I mean, that is a few years off for me, I think, but eventually, yeah, I'd love to do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I do love this country in the summer. It's hard to beat. The problem is it's just so, you can't bank on the weather ever.
No.
It's a scary holiday if it's your only holiday, because it might just piss down.
Yeah.
And you can't rely on it. But like last year we went to Greece, or we went to Crete specifically, and that was kind of nice, but bits of it not as nice. The food wasn't as good as Italy. Italy was amazing for food. Everywhere you went was stunning. And, that's a big part of the holiday for me. I love eating out anyway,
yeah, same.
but getting nice food, another country somewhere. I mean, I don't venture too far off my general menu. I still just want a steak.
Yeah, and chips.
But I like to have it in another country.
Yeah.
Cooked by someone else.
Yeah, but I know that you're the same, having had a family. Some of the best holidays you've had have been cheaper holidays.
Oh, 100%. When my kids were young, yeah, we'd go to Cornwall, whatever, stay in some caravan near a beach. They would love it. But we did the Centre Parks thing quite a lot as well,
That's right, I remember.
which is not cheap. It costs as much as going abroad. The difference is you don't worry about the weather because all the activities you can do indoors, or it sort of don't matter if it rains, But yeah, that was good. I'd do that again one day.
Yeah.
It's definitely a good experience.
We still do the family holidays. We've got a young niece and nephew. Obviously, I've got a young daughter, and you can get quite nice sort of static caravans now, big TVs.
Yeah.
But again, you've got the it's all on you get it near a beach.
Yep.
And then you've got the sort of club that the cabaret jazz.
I used to love all that.
The grown-ups can have a couple of beers, and and the kids can. Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, and the kids can have a run around and a play, and the mums can have a bit of a dance.
Yeah.
The okey cokey. All that.
Yeah. That is heavy drilling of some description.
Good sample.
Make an interesting bass, yeah. Bastards are going to start falling off shelves in a minute.
They're rattling up.
Yeah, they are properly moving.
I love this one.
Yeah, this is a good one. When it's a KLF.
We are rolling. This is episode 8, act. And whatever the other. What's French for 8?
And 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. Wheat.
Just going to say nerf is 9. I remember that one.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
Why did you ask me what's French for?
No.
Don't know. Okay.
Said you were multilingual.
Yeah. No, I'm not. No.
Zero lingual.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, no, lingual.
Lingual. Just.
Monolingual.
Well, you're from Northampton,
Yeah.
you know.
I speak just bullshit.
Yeah. Right. Shall we do some news, Dan?
Yes.
Shall we avoid you know who from you know where?
Yeah.
Let's see if we can do an episode without it.
Yeah.
Let's do our best.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago, did
Yeah.
you see the thing online of the guy out on his kayak and he got eaten by a whale?
Yes.
I mean, how mad is that?
Yeah.
And the guy that was filming it was his dad.
Was it?
Yeah. Imagine that.
He got spat out again, though, didn't he?
He did literally get spat out again.
Yeah.
I was just,
I wonder if it hurt. Because they have baleen, don't they, rather than teeth whales?
Yeah. They just
Like a
sort of
filter.
stuck things through them, don't they?
Yeah.
But there must have been a few moments when he's inside a whale's mouth. I mean, what are the chances?
I don't know. Yeah. I'll tell you, I've seen loads of videos recently of people removing barnacles off whales and turtles and stuff.
Yeah.
Because
why?
they don't hurt them, but they get so heavy they can't swim.
Okay.
But God, it's great viewing.
Great viewing.
Yeah, just scraping stuff off stuff. Just something about
Interesting.
it. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like people like watching pimple squeezing and stuff, don't they?
For some reason, there's a lot of that online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is.
I don't
Yeah.
entirely get it.
Is it AMSR? What's the where they do all the
Oh, ASMR, yeah, it's the very whatever
close
they are.
noises and girls?
And again, I don't get that. I don't know. Maybe my senses are different in some way,
yeah.
but I don't find that in the slightest bit interesting.
No, I
or-
mean it. I don't. But I'm
it's weird.
yeah, I was aware. So yeah. Anyway, bloke, gets eaten by a whale,
Yeah.
and I don't know how far down the gullet do you think you get, especially in a canoe. You'd be like Alton Towers. Be like Alton Towers.
It's just so hard to process that
and how
happened
long
to somebody.
how long was he caught in for?
Oh, it's like a second or two.
Was
wasn't
it?
Yeah, it was not long, and he just got.
Yeah, spat out again.
And then he's just there, and you know, I mean, that ain't good, is it?
no,
No.
better than a shark.
Well, there is that.
Yeah,
Yeah. You
yeah.
don't get swallowed. You just
No.
get chewed.
Who was it? There's Moby Dick. They got swallowed by a whale, didn't they?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
I don't think I know the story of Moby Dick.
bloke gets swallowed by a whale.
I knew there was a whale involved.
What was the whale called?
See, the only sort of classic sort of sea tale like that I know,
Yeah.
and it's only because my dad was kind of mildly obsessed with it, is The Old Man and the Sea.
Never
Which
heard
is,
of it.
well, it's about a guy that they made a film of it years and years ago, and it's about a guy that catches a big fish,
Yeah.
and he struggles like crazy to land this enormous fish. It's kind of bigger than his boat, and then the struggle is him trying to get the fish back to shore so that he can show off that he's caught this big fish. But of course, every other fish is trying to eat it because he can't get it out of the water. He's kind of dragging it with him. So, you know, it's all about the fact.
There's probably a moral there.
I think there's a big moral thing here, yeah. Anyway, that's the only one I know of those
Yeah.
kind of stories. But yeah.
Yeah, so man gets swallowed by a fish. Well, so you're going to ask me for a bit of news now, but the only other bit. Well, I don't know. There's a big uptake in ketamine intake in the United Kingdom.
Okay. Oh, and we're not talking about horses here, are we?
No.
Young people, old people?
Yeah. Well,
Middle-aged
it's the
people?
new rave drug.
And it's not something I'm particularly.
Who's going to raves these days?
Well,
Where are they happening?
Young people. They happen a lot.
Do they?
I know a lot of young people that go to raves. Yeah, Drum Sheds. That's a big rave
Oh,
venue.
okay. Yeah.
There's a place that I know some people that are going. It's actually under a bridge, like the good old days.
Okay.
But it's interesting. But the thing about it is, the biggest impact it has
Yep.
on regular users, because it's a very cheap drug,
Yeah.
and apparently in a because it's actually medical. Famously Elon Musk has a
Well, it's a horse tranquilizer. Is what it's
ketamine
designed
prescription. Well, I don't think it's actually. I think that's one of its applications.
Yeah.
I don't think it's actually what it's designed for. But it's supposed to be in correctly dosed. Of course, it's also what Matthew Perry died of an overdose
for.
from.
Yeah.
So it's a very popular fashion drug.
Yeah.
But one of the biggest downsides of it is you lose bladder control.
Just like drinking, then.
No, not. It doesn't make you need a wee. You can't stop.
Oh, you literally can't stop it.
Yeah. Like you have to
Ooh.
start wearing old man pads.
Oh, we don't want to go there.
No, we don't. It's not like the good old days, but apparently, there's been a massive uptake, but it's very cheap as well. But I was also reading that the popularity came from, I think it was Vietnam, where they were doing a lot of amputations in the field,
Right.
and they used all sorts of different kinds of anesthetics.
Yep.
Anesthetics, and ketamine was the best, and it relieved a lot because simultaneously it relieved a lot of the trauma from being on the battlefield.
Wow.
But it was just something that had come up recently, and knowing young people, because I'm young, it's something I heard a bit about. But just it's quite terrifying stuff, really.
Are you that guy that when you're young, there's always one, isn't there? He's like, who's brought that? Who's brought the old fart?
No, you are. You're the one with the kids that are old enough to go to the pub and goes to the pub with the kids.
I
Try and lay
have
that at my doorstep, Sonny Jim.
That's different. I'm related. You just turn up. You're like the child catcher.
Yeah.
You've got a stream of young kids following you around.
Yeah, I've got a special little outfit with a top hat. I've got a
wouldn't be that
little
surprised.
tin flute.
Jesus. I think that's enough news.
Yeah.
Gone off piece big time. Damn.
Yeah.
Right, TV.
TV.
Have you seen anything remotely good or interesting recently?
Go on, you go first.
So I went to Sweden a week or so ago, and I was
Watching,
yeah.
with Nick Frost and...
Yes, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Sick Note,
Sick Note.
which
Rupert Grint.
yeah.
Is it Rupert Grint, or is that his name in...
I think that's his name. I'd never heard of it, and I don't know why
It's not
suddenly
that new, yeah.
popped up. No, it was 2017.
Yeah.
Series 1, and Series 2 was like 2019 or 2020 or something. And it just popped up on my Netflix, and I'm like, I generally like Nick Frost. I'll have a look.
God, he's big in that, though, isn't he?
He is big in that, but he's brilliant in it. He plays the Doctor. But for anyone that doesn't know, the basic plot is Nick Frost plays this guy's doctor who is a terrible doctor and accidentally misdiagnoses him with cancer.
Yeah.
And he realises quite quickly that having cancer is actually not all that bad for him because people start being nice to him.
Not having cancer isn't that bad, because
No.
having cancer is clearly terrible.
Terrible.
But
people thinking
you
you have
have
it,
cancer.
He's like, everyone's nice to me
Yeah.
now. My
He kept
girlfriend's
his
nice to
job,
me.
yeah.
He's about to get fired. They let
Yeah.
him keep his, everyone, and it's kind of all about that. It's
He got the sympathy lay, didn't he?
yeah, all of that stuff, and it's just very, very funny and well done. And I don't think I've seen a British comedy with that kind of humour for quite a while.
No.
And I really liked it.
They were both really, really good in that, actually.
Yeah, I would say Series 2 wasn't quite as good as Series 1.
Always the way, isn't it?
Yeah.
Always. Well, often the way.
But also the end of Series 1, it wasn't like a completely new story. It ended Series 1 on a cliffhanger. So I'm
Yeah.
like, oh no,
Yeah.
I need to see Series 2.
I didn't realise, actually, because I sort of binged it after you'd suggested it while you were
Yeah.
away. I didn't realise I'd gone into Series 2.
No, it just
Yeah.
carries on. But also that ends not quite on a cliffhanger, but clearly there was meant to be more.
Yeah,
which there hasn't been.
I didn't get that far.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's quite clever, isn't it? The medical insurance firm and what have you, and the guy goes
Don
out
Johnson
shooting
played his boss.
Yeah,
I mean, Don Johnson is just brilliant. He must have loved that role. Well,
shooting an albino giraffe.
it's just so good. It's
Yeah.
so sort of cutting in its sort of anti-woke vibes. Brilliant, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if they'll ever make any more. I doubt it. I
No.
presume it's done.
No.
But yeah, loved it. So come on, what have you been watching?
Well, that.
You watched it?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
okay.
did. I watched that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got to be honest. I mean, we put this TV bit in, and it makes me realise
I don't watch enough TV.
I don't watch very much TV. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of it, and it's the classic thing of there's too much choice.
Yeah.
And so we spend hours skipping through Netflix. You put something on for 10 minutes, you either turn it off or fall asleep. So we were watching a new British sort of drama series about CCTV, and the Chinese are spying on the British, and they're able to scrub out people on CCTV.
Yep.
And there's a Chinese firm looking to take over Border Force, UK Border Force.
Oh, I think I might have seen it. It rings
But
a
it's
bell.
just like, it's a really good idea, but God, it's fucking boring.
Well, what's that new thing on Netflix at the moment? The Robert De Niro thing, and it's about some big
have seen that.
cyber attack on the US.
Seen that advertised.
I got 2 episodes in. And I'm
Really?
like, bored.
Yeah.
It just they did once. I don't know if there's another big cyber attack coming, but the one that they did was a bit whatever. And then it just went into loads of random scenes. He's clearly got some memory issue, and he can't remember. The president's got issues other than this going on medically, and I needed more.
Well, it's hard,
The
isn't
trailer promised a lot.
Yeah, well, the thing is I was thinking about it. They have so many writers, don't they, for each different episode? And if you actually watch the credits of these things, different director, different writers for every episode.
Well, they have like a writer's room, don't they? They literally get together and there's loads of them and they all discuss where they're going. And it's like, I mean, you obviously saw Lost back in the day. Never was there a TV series where it was more obvious that when they started it, they had no clue what the actual truth was, where it was going. And it was just, it got more and more outlandish, and then they just ignored most of the plot points.
Yeah, apparently there was somebody on the internet that put all of that in order. Yeah. Because they do all the flashbacks and stuff. Yeah, somebody edited it all and put it all in order so you can watch it actually in order.
I did actually put it on recently. From the beginning, Lost.
Yeah.
I did a few episodes and then I was like...
Yeah, no, my brother and my mum watch it a lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they sort of get to the end and then restart it and watch it to the end again.
It's like a comfort thing.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
I get that. There's the Seinfeld. I absolutely love Seinfeld.
Yeah.
And I've watched it. I mean, I think there was, 10, 11 seasons or something?
Was there?
I've watched them all many times.
Really?
Yeah, it's always on my most recent watch list. If I just want some background noise, something comforting, I'll put Seinfeld on. I don't know why, that humour just works for me.
Yeah.
Even though it looks like another time now. It's
it does, yeah. No, it looks very old. The 90s, doesn't it? The Friends, the 90s episodes of Friends and
They've
stuff.
all of a sudden looked,
very
dated,
all the colours and
everything,
the hairstyles.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Blimey. So that was TV.
Yep.
Audio. Audio. I've done another audio book. Just finished it, actually.
Have you?
Yeah, I rattle through them, the old audio books. It's quite a good way to get through a book that you're interested in, but you just haven't got the time to sit down and read it.
Yeah.
You just have it on every time you go anywhere in a car.
Yeah.
You can do a book in a week easy by doing that. And the one I've done is Simon Squibb. I don't know if you've heard of Simon Squibb, but he's all over TikTok and Instagram. And he's the guy that goes up to people with a microphone and says, "What's your dream?" And then people tell him what their dream is, and he helps them set up businesses. And he offers you money quite often. He goes, "If you quit your job today, I'll give you $5,000 to set up your business." And he's basically a multi-millionaire. He had a design business based in Hong Kong. He sold it before he was 40, made millions.
Yeah.
And has now set up this thing, I think it's called Help Bank, where he literally just helps people start businesses. He thinks everyone should work for themselves. And he has this building that he bought, which is weird. It's just like a staircase with a front door.
Yeah.
I think it might have been Twickenham. And he's put like a Ring doorbell thing. And the idea is if you go there, you can pitch to the video doorbell what your business is. And if he likes it, he'll put you in touch with people that will help you. And
good book.
Really, really good, incredibly motivating book. It's all about why the idea that you sort of secretly have in the back of your head that you never tell anyone, the business you'd love to run, is something you could do and should do.
Yeah.
And, he's full of like interesting sort of little, I don't know, bits of advice. He's like, the second you tell your friends that's what you want to do, it makes it a little bit real. You then make a bit of a plan to stop your job and to start working on this. It becomes a bit more real. And it's all about, obviously, everyone, once they get to a certain age, there's a load of financial responsibility.
Yeah.
And just quitting your job to start a business because you fancy it
Isn't reality.
might not be a reality.
Yeah.
But he's like, do you know what? If it's your passion, if it's something you're driven to do, and you can do it, you just need to find the right help.
Yeah, you could go and pitch a sound engineering mixing company.
Bit late. Bit late for that.
Do you fancy it? Would you go and pitch?
If I was young and if I had an idea and I wanted some help, yeah. But I'm not young. I haven't got an idea, and I don't want any help.
So that's a big fat no.
I'm doing what I want to be doing.
Yeah.
You know. So that's it's sort of, I don't need that. But I found it very, very inspiring.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of good ideas in that book. And he's a really, really interesting guy because he just wants to help. You know, and that's that. It's quite hard to take that on board sometimes.
Yeah,
That you know, there's no ulterior motive, and I don't think there is at all. I think he genuinely just wants to help, and I think he's discovered that that's his passion.
Yeah.
And doing that has sort of turned into a profitable business for him. So
there was an ulterior motive.
well, I think that just happened. I don't think that was part of the plan. But I really enjoyed the advice and the various chapters of the various stages of starting a business. Although I've done it a few times, it's still interesting to hear someone else's take on it. Really liked it. What about you? What have you been listening to?
Oh, found an album called Is This What You Really Want? It's by 1,000 artists.
Ah.
But there's only about 10 or 12 tracks on it.
Ah.
And it's just empty rooms. And it's like an empty studio. And
I'm aware of it.
And footsteps walking across the studio.
Yeah.
And it's really, I mean, it's a bit avant-garde, but it's really well thought out. The only thing I thought, what you need is a Dolby mix of this.
Oh yeah,
Like
that'd
a
be good.
surround sound sort of vibe.
There's footsteps going
So
all
you
around
could
you.
be in the. I've always said I like recordings where it feels like you're in the room.
Yep.
I know they could have, but I don't think it's on iTunes for that reason.
No.
So yeah, I've been listening to that quite a lot. There's a few. I mean, it could have done with a few hooks here and there. But
It's a hookless album.
yeah, it's pretty hookless. Yeah,
Yeah,
but yeah, I listened to it 2 or 3 times. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. I think I contributed to that album.
Did you?
I did.
How come? What you weren't the chap with the footsteps?
No. I didn't actually record the footsteps.
You were the guy going
No.
on track 7.
As you know, I manage an artist who was one of the people that contributed to it.
Oh,
So we
one of the 1,000.
one of the 1,000. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been listening to.
Yeah. Well, it made a bit of a splash with the press.
Did it?
Well, it was on every single newspaper front page.
Was it?
Yeah.
Front
Well, you didn't
page?
see that?
No, I don't read the newspaper really.
Ah. So
Well,
on the day-
I read Apple News.
On the day of release,
Yeah.
every single newspaper in the country had the same front page,
Oh right.
which was part of the
Yeah.
project. It was, a protest to the government to.
For musical artists to opt in or opt out of.
Yeah, well, not just musical artists, any artist, anyone that has earned their living from copyrighted artistic works to basically say, I don't really want AI training itself on my material, which, who knows where that will go. I mean, I do agree with you. We did have a big row about this the other day on the phone. But I agree in principle that you can't stop it. It's kind of, it's going to happen. However, I think if you don't at least try and put some borders up, it'll get us in more than one way. I'm not worried about the music bit specifically. That's just the industry I work in. But sooner or later, it is going to take your job. It is going
It's like
to.
Pac-Man, isn't it? That's the
Yeah,
way
it's
I see it.
coming.
Just
It's
come in,
coming.
eating all
At some point, I think there was. I don't know if it was just a hyperbolic or whatever, but I think there might be some truth that apparently at some point a couple of years ago, when AI was first able to have a conversation with you, they put 2 machines together and got them to have a conversation with each other, and within a very short space of time decided that we were totally in the way, and that the first thing that it needed to do to advance was to get rid of us,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
that's Terminator, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, there are certainly concerns like that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
the
a coming.
end is nigh. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for the advantages. I mean, the stuff you use it for with your degree of doing that sounds fascinating. That sounds exactly what it should be doing. It should be helping us to do He should be doing manual things that are a pain in the arse to do. He should be doing that. What it shouldn't be doing is making music, making films. He shouldn't be taking away the thing that makes us human. It should be doing all the shit that humans would rather not do. But there's no one in charge of it.
Well, there is, isn't there? There is. But I mean, basically everything on the internet, from photographs to research papers, to literature, whether it's
out there,
fiction or non-fiction, it's all contributing to what you use every day if you use AI.
True.
And I sort of get it, but it's a fairly. And the other thing is, you look at it, there are no artists on that album.
No.
Yet it's released by Universal.
Yeah.
So, one of the oligopoly of major record labels has put out an album. It's a fairly contrived industry as it is.
I think the obvious thing to say to anyone who's got these issues with labels, AI, and all that at the moment is like, let's put that at number 2 on the list of things to fix. Number 1, let's sort out streaming royalties. Let's do that first.
There you go.
And then we'll get to this.
Yeah. I kind of agree. I completely agree with that.
Because right now the business is broken.
Yeah.
And that's a bigger issue. The fact that artists don't really get paid.
And it also comes down to the art versus commerce thing.
Yeah.
Because if you're an artist and you're a creative, and I saw the Elton John thing where he says, got to pay for artists to do their work. Well, if you're an artist and a creative, you have something in you.
Yeah, you just want to do it.
That makes you want to do it.
Yeah.
And the people that are successful, the Elton Johns, the Paul McCartneys, who have been have made millions.
Oh yeah.
You're always going to have your favourite records.
Yeah.
You're always going to be able to see people perform because humans are going to want human interaction, AI or not. But it is clearly a threat to the current commercial model.
Yeah. Yeah. To be fair, which isn't very old, and it's easy to say it's broken, and I say that a lot, but realistically, maybe it's just not found its feet yet. It's a young industry, realistically, and it's. I mean,
it's going to be. You're going to be either wearing glasses or having a chip or whatever. And your mood is going to be monitored by your personal AI, and it's going to be generating music in real time to suit your specific frame of mind in that very moment. That's where it's going essentially. It's feeding these neural networks. It's that's kind of where it's going. I don't know.
It's horrendous.
It is. It is. Well, it's scary. It is scary. I mean, the safeguarding aspect, I think, is equally scary. That they've, that they're spending all this money on developing these models and they don't know where they're going. I mean, that's the thing with these neural networks is they're so deep that nobody actually knows what's going on. Within the neurons.
No.
So it's a rather large kettle of. Is it kettle of fish? Is that what I mean? It's a rather large. Yeah, ball of fury, whatever you want to call it. I just thought that was. To be honest, it is. It is quite a good album because I played a little bit then, and you went, "What's that?"
Jeez, I was curious.
Yeah.
I don't mind a bit of ambient.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Some subtle beats in it, and it'll be all right.
But the thing is, feel very fortunate to have been alive somewhere, between the 50s and where we are now.
Of course, yeah.
And experienced, the birth of pop music and rock and roll and all of everything that's gone on. And there's been these arguments before, synthesizers and the Musicians Union, sampling, streaming, MP3s. It's all... It's always been, and I can obviously completely see, if I was a millionaire making all my money on royalties, I'd be worried as well. But I'm not, so I'm not.
And on that bombshell, I think that rounds up episode 8. You can see us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and I think Amazon Podcasts and a bunch of other places like that. And we just got an email saying we're doing rather well in the Netherlands, which is very strange. Number 54 in mental health podcast.
I'm not sure that's rather well. That's not what I would consider to be.
Well, I don't know.
Very well, yeah.
Didn't even know we're a mental health podcast.
Yeah, well, exactly. And it seems like quite a specific genre to be number 54 at. Yeah.
Not even top 40.
We're number... We're number 2 in the charts. 102. We're number 102 in the charts.
Oh, well.
Oh, well.
We're having fun.
All
anyway,
right.
we will see you next time.
See you. Bye. Bye.
Adios.